The feud actually starts at Cyber Sunday 2008. Batista is wrestling Chris Jericho, and they're voting for a special guest referee. 74% voted for Austin, 22% for Shawn Michaels, 4% for Randy Orton. At some point in the match, of course, now as a reminder, it's Batista and Chris Jericho for the world title. Stone Cold is your special guest referee. But Batista is going to be here and hit the spear. And I guess Shawn Michaels is sort of the backup referee. He's going to try to do the fast count, but you come out, pull Shawn out of the ring, and clothesline him to the floor. And it feels like the very next day, you're going to be out doing a promo and sort of explaining your actions from the pay-per-view. And you're saying that Jericho had offered you a deal where you'd get the next title shot, but that meant you had to help him make sure he kept the title. And he being you blame Shawn Michaels for screwing Jericho and keeping the title shot. And then, of course, you're talking about all the money that you would make as the champion. What do you think of the way to sort of introduce you into this angle that you had made a backdoor deal with Jericho? I like that.
I liked it a lot. It was well thought through. I got to work, with Shawn and Vince. They had such a great relationship. Maybe the closest wrestler Vince relationship, except for maybe Undertaker was pretty close. Anyway, you're trying to choose between Vince's two favorite sons, I think. So, and Triple H, he loved Hunter. When Shawn was in there with Vince, it was very collaborative. And, Shawn was one of the few guys, as Undertaker said, that, man, he could be really blunt with Vince. He was, Shawn would just flat tell him something. I'm like, oh my God, I wouldn't say that. Cause I was in there with him, and Shawn would just say whatever's on his mind. And Vince loved it. Vince loved it. Vince hated yes men. The idea that Vince liked yes men, completely wrong. I'd see guys suck up to Vince and we would laugh, go, he ain't gonna be here long. And he wouldn't. Vince didn't like suck ups. He liked guys who would stand up to him and give ideas. And Shawn's a very smart guy, as you see with NXT. So there was a lot of collaboration between Vince and Shawn going into this, which was very appreciative because you've got a guy that can take care of the angle that you're wrestling.
I got to ask about, the way this is being put together. You're going to interfere that night backstage before Shawn has his, or I guess before there's a rematch. You beat up Shawn in the backstage area. Shawn does a run in. You're going to get involved. You're going to keep this going, but never actually getting in the ring just yet for a few weeks. Are you trying to get in ring shape? Are you trying to get cleared? Or is it just old school promoting? Hey, let's not give them the match. Let's make them wait for it.
All of the above. So I think I was still doing commentary at the time. Is that right? I think I was. Yep. And, I'd go early, and as me and Michael Cole always did, and I would take my workout shorts and I would do stairs and I'd do ropes, in the ring, before the matches. I was doing everything I could to get in shape for matches. So yeah, it was all the above. I was getting in shape, but I was in decent shape at the time. I was just getting in better shape. Was really working hard on it. But a lot of it was also storyline driven.
You're also going to insert yourself into a last man standing match when they have a match between Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho in Manchester, England. They go 18 minutes and 33 seconds, which is a big time Raw main event. But when you get involved, you wind up hitting Shawn with a big chair shot, and you have been synonymous with big chair shots on the giving end and the receiving end. What are the best practices for a memorable chair shot, John?
Hit them flat. That's all you got to do is hit them flat. It's going to hurt. And those old chairs, they hurt. People say, how do you do a chair shot? You close your eyes and hope you wake up. That's how you take it. You just get hit on the head. But the main thing is hit them flat. Don't hit them, a corner of the chair, make it the top of the chair. Try to get their head right in the direct middle of the seat of the chair is how you do it. And you can whack them pretty hard as I did. I took it the same way I gave it, but guys are pretty good about that. But it's all about aim. If you catch them with the rail, you'll bust them wide open. Catch them with the top. That's what happened when Stevie hit me with the chair. He caught me at the top, by mistake. That's why I've got this massive scar up here. I always said if I go bald, I'm like a baseball. I've got so many stitches in my head. But that's the only thing that can really go wrong with a chair shot. Otherwise, it's just really hard and it hurts.
You're also going to find yourself in this Survivor Series match. There's Team HBK, which is Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, Crime Time, and Great Khali, taking on Team JBL, which is JBL, The Miz, Morrison, MVP, and Kane. And at one point, you're going to send some live rounds Shawn Michaels' way. It's written in the Observer. One of them potatoed Michaels, who was busted open over the left eye. Tell me about this. Is that, listen, I hate to ask you to just sort of spoil the magic, but we've heard before at times old school guys would say, no, just get me right over the eye. We'll do it the hard way. And then other times, you know, it's just not planned like that. It's just not ballet and shit happens. Which one was this?
It's not planned that way and shit happens. That wasn't Shawn. You know, Shawn would do that, you know, but he didn't. I would tell you if he did. He didn't tell me to bust him open. You know, I don't remember exactly what happened, but it's just the shit happens thing. Potato. Shawn's a tough guy. You know, people don't. Shawn didn't get credit for that a lot, you know. Yeah, but Shawn's a tough. He didn't care. He didn't care about getting hit. He didn't care about nothing, you know. And it's a little blood. Guys are like, it's good for the business, as they used to always say. Guys never cared about getting busted open. You know, they thought it was good. They thought it was fun, and actually they did. They actually thought it was fun. As crazy as that sounds, guys thought it was fun to get busted open and have a little juice coming out during the match. So Shawn certainly didn't care. It was just added to the aspect of the match.
You know, normally it feels like the Survivor Series match is almost like the blow off or the match after the blow off. I think back to like Hogan Andre, and you know, of course, with the creation of the very first Survivor Series, they're on opposite teams. Maybe that was a continuation, but this feels a little different because before your feud is really going with Shawn, you find yourself captaining different Survivor Series teams. Did that feel? I guess, what did you think about that? Did you feel like that was out of order, getting the cart before the horse? Maybe we needed to have mano a mano a little longer, or was this a nice way to introduce it? And then secondly, what did you think about that old school elimination Survivor Series style match?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Survivor Series. I thought it was fun to be in. I thought it was fun to be a part of. And I thought I was glad to be different. You know, I tell you what I think is a funny story of Shawn when he bailed me out one time with George Steele. George Steele was sitting there talking to me about a match, and George could overthink things. You know, George was a very smart guy, but sometimes smart guys tend to turn simple math into trigonometry, and that's what George Steele could do sometimes with the wrestling match. He said, "Kid, why do we always have the heat and then the comeback? And, you know, why do we always have it that way?" And he's trying to talk me into doing it different. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're not going to have me go out there and do a comeback first. And I'm sitting there just watching me. I'm in horror. It's like a rib. And George is like thinking out of his head now. But he's turned this something around in his head. And thank God Shawn Michaels was sitting right there. He goes, "'Cause it works." And George is like, yeah, I guess you're right, kid. And walked off. I'm like, "Shawn, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying something." Like, oh my God. So, you know, the traditional Survivor Series, you're right, was kind of a blow off. It was done differently. This isn't like doing the comeback first in a match. This isn't turning simple math into calculus. This is just a different way of doing things. And I liked it.